Have you ever looked down at your dog's paws and really looked? Most owners see something small and sweet, something to squeeze, maybe kiss and move on. But what if those little pads were quietly telling you something about who your dog actually is at their core, deeper than any breed profile or training guide could ever explain? Because here's what nobody talks about. The shape of your dog's paw pads corresponds to specific personality traits that researchers and behaviorists have observed across thousands of dogs. And once you know what to look for, you'll never see your dog the same way again. Let's go through each type, find yours, and discover what your dog has been telling you this whole time. 1. The half-circle pad, the one who would do anything for you. If your dog's paw pads have a smooth, gently curved half-circle shape, you have one of the most emotionally devoted dogs on the planet. And I don't mean that casually. Dogs with this pad shape tend to display what animal behaviorists call proximity-seeking behavior at an almost constant level. They don't just want to be near you. They need to be near you. They follow you from room to room. They settle exactly where you settle. They sleep where your scent is strongest even when you're not there. This isn't clinginess. It's a deep, almost ancient form of loyalty that's hardwired into who they are. In early domesticated dog communities, certain individuals specialized in bonding tightly with specific humans. They didn't roam the pack, they attached. And that attachment instinct lives on in dogs with this pad shape today. Here's what makes it even more meaningful. These dogs don't spread their loyalty thin. They choose their person and they hold on to that choice with everything they have. If this is your dog, you may not fully realize how rare that is. You've been selected. And to a half-circle dog, that selection is permanent. 2. The rice ball pad. Big heart, bigger courage, round, slightly irregular, soft at the edges. If your dog's pads look like small, gently packed rice balls, you have a dog who is both tender and extraordinarily brave in the same breath. What makes this combination so unusual is that most animals tend toward one or the other. Either they're gentle and cautious or bold and independent. But rice ball pad dogs seem to carry both qualities at once, and they balance them beautifully. Studies in canine temperament show that dogs high in both affiliation, meaning the drive to connect, and confidence, tend to be the most dependable in high-stress situations. They're the ones who don't flinch during thunderstorms if they know you need them calm. They're the ones who step between you and something unfamiliar, not out of aggression, but out of instinct, out of love. And here's the detail most owners miss. These dogs don't show their bravery loudly. They show it quietly. A steady presence when the world feels unstable. A warmth that doesn't waver. If your dog has rice ball pads, they've probably already protected you in ways you never noticed. And hey, if you're seeing your dog differently right now, hit like and subscribe. It's how we reach more dog owners who actually want to understand what their dog is trying to show them. 3. The triangle pad. The one who's always 3 steps ahead. Triangle-shaped pads with a slight point and defined edges belong to a very specific kind of dog. The ones who figured out how to open the treat cabinet. The ones who watch your face when you're on a phone call. The ones who have already solved the problem before you knew there was one. Dogs with this pad shape consistently show what researchers call observational intelligence, an unusually high ability to learn by watching rather than by trial and error. They study you. They read your patterns. And they use that information in ways that regularly surprise their owners. A 2023 study on canine cognition found that certain dogs could predict their owner's behavior up to several minutes in advance, based on subtle environmental cues, posture shifts, and verbal patterns. The dogs scoring highest in this area weren't the ones who had the most training. They were the ones who were paying the most attention. If your dog has triangle pads, they are almost certainly one of these dogs. And their enthusiasm, which can feel almost overwhelming at times, isn't hyperactivity. It's excitement. Their brain moves fast. They see what's coming, and they want to meet it. The job of a triangle pad owner isn't to slow that dog down. It's to give them something worthy of that incredible mind. 4. The cloud pad. Pure joy walking around in dog form. Soft, rounded, slightly puffy, irregular at the edges. Like a little cloud pressed into the ground. If this is your dog's pad shape, I can already tell you something about them with complete confidence. They are the reason people smile on hard days. Cloud pad dogs are wired for cheerfulness in a way that's almost hard to explain. It's not that they don't notice stress or tension. Research shows they absolutely do. Domestic dogs are extraordinarily sensitive to human emotional states, detecting cortisol changes through scent and reading micro-expressions that most humans miss entirely. Cloud pad dogs notice all of it. They just respond differently than other dogs. Instead of mirroring the tension, they counter it. They bring the toy. They do the spin. They make the noise that always makes you laugh. This isn't them ignoring your feelings. This is them treating your feelings with the only medicine they know how to give. And somewhere in the room that almost always works. Because cloud pad dogs have an instinct that's deeply underrated. They understand that sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone you love is simply refuse to let the darkness take over. If this is your dog, take a second to appreciate that. What they do every single day for you effortlessly is actually extraordinary. 5. The rough pad. The boss who does things their way. Firm textured with a defined and slightly irregular surface. Rough pads belong to dogs who came into this world with a very clear opinion about how it should be run. These are the dogs who will look you directly in the eye when you say no. Not defiantly exactly, more like thoughtfully, like they're weighing whether your no is reasonable before deciding how to proceed. They have their own logic, their own schedule, their own hierarchy of priorities. And while they do love you deeply, they love you on their own terms. Here's the thing that most owners of rough pad dogs get wrong. They mistake independence for distance. But these dogs aren't cold, they're selective. They don't offer affection constantly because affection from them means something. When a rough pad dog chooses to lean against you or drops their head into your lap uninvited, pay attention. That's not habit, that's a decision. And decisions from this type of dog carry real weight. Behaviorists who work with strong-willed dogs consistently note that the owners who build the deepest bonds with them are the ones who stopped trying to change them. The ones who learn to respect the independence instead of fighting it. If you can meet a rough pad dog on their terms, what you get in return is a loyalty that's been earned. And earned loyalty in any species is the kind that lasts. 6. The rice grain pad. Quiet depth that most people never see. Small, narrow, gently elongated. Rice grain pads belong to dogs who are often misread by the world and deeply understood by very few. And if you're one of those few, you already know how lucky that makes you. These dogs are cautious by nature. They observe before they engage. They take their time with new people, new spaces, new situations. To a stranger, this can look like shyness, even timidity. But what's actually happening is something far more sophisticated. Rice grain pad dogs are deeply sensitive processors. They're taking in more information than most dogs do, and they're being careful with it. Research into canine stress responses shows that highly sensitive dogs don't experience more fear than other dogs necessarily. They experience more input. Every sound lands differently. Every change in a room's energy registers. Every human emotion in their vicinity gets absorbed and felt. This is why they startle more easily. Not because they're weak, but because they're paying extraordinary attention. What this means for you is this. When a rice grain pad dog finally trusts you, completely trusts you, the wall comes all the way down. And what's behind it is a gentleness so pure, so careful, and so devoted that it often takes owners years to fully realize what they have. If this is your dog, go slowly, be consistent, and know that every small moment of trust they offer you is not small to them at all. What your dog's paws have been saying all along, here's the truth that ties all of this together. Your dog has never had the words to tell you who they are. They can't sit you down and explain what they need, what they fear, what brings them joy. So they show you. In the way they follow you. In the way they play. In the way they press against you on the hard days and celebrate with you on the easy ones. And now in something as quiet and easy to overlook as the shape of their paw pads. So the next time your dog settles at your feet, reach down. Look closely. And remember that the animal trusting you enough to close their eyes in your presence has been trying to introduce themselves to you this whole time. You just needed to know where to look.